And welcome back to another one, you guys. If you're new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today we are in the brand new 2026 Toyota Crown because this thing has a very unique look. It is a luxury sedan from Toyota, of course, and it gets absolutely brilliant fuel economy. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there will be several different trim levels for the 2026 Crown. First one being the XLE, starting at $41,440, which by the way is the exact same price as last year. That is the first time I've seen that so far where the price has not increased substantially. So well done Toyota for that. You got the Limited for $45,950, Nightshade, which is the one we were in today, going for $48,765, and then the Platinum starting at $54,990. And so with those four different trim levels, there are actually two different power plants for the Crown. First power plant is going to belong to those first three trim levels, all but the Platinum essentially. So powering the one that we have today is a 2.5 liter four-cylinder with 3 electric motors, putting out 236 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque. That power being sent to all four wheels through a CVT. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 7.6 seconds. With MPG numbers, get ready. 42 in the city, 41 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel with nearly 600 miles of range. Those are some very impressive statistics when you consider all-wheel drive comes standard in a luxury sedan of this size. So well done Toyota for that. Then you have the other engine configuration belonging to just the Platinum trim level, and that is going to be a 2.4 liter turbocharged four-cylinder with an electric motor. This one puts out 340 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque sent to all four wheels through a 6-speed automatic with paddle shifters. 0 to 60 time for that one, 5.7 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 29 in the city, 32 on the highway, but still, believe it or not, taking regular unleaded fuel. That's pretty cool. But before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in our Toyota Crown, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There is a black toggle switch located kind of directly behind the shifter there. Drive modes will include Eco, Normal, Sport, Custom, EV, and then if you were to go with the Platinum, you're also going to get a Sport Plus as well, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the Crown here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2026 Toyota Crown here up to speed. All right, found her straight away here in 3, 2, 1, go. Nice. I can tell it's a CVT. All right, that's fine. Actually, you're not going to have any issues merging onto the highway. I kind of muttered to myself at the very beginning of that, nice, because it was an instant acceleration, perhaps because we have 3 electric motors, and that is going to give you that instant acceleration, whereas typically with turbocharged engines, you're going to get a little bit of a delay. Having said that, the Platinum is still going to be quicker, even though it is turbocharged, because it has so much power, but still, I love that instant acceleration with the 3 electric motors in this particular configuration. That was really nice. So, and again, definitely not going to have any issues emerging onto the highway, and you get over 40 miles per gallon whether you're driving in the city or the highway. So that's absolutely brilliant. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 12.9-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.5-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at a respectable 127 feet. That number is pretty par for the course there. As far as braking feel goes, it's a little on the softer side of things, so wouldn't have minded if they firmed up that braking feel a little bit, but it gets the job done. Like 127 feet, that's plenty respectable, so I don't have any issues with that number. But touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. But if you were to go with that Platinum trim level that we don't have with us here today, you also get an adaptive damping suspension. So what that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the rotor perfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also does tighten up that suspension during heavy street cornering, giving you better handling as well. So it gives you the best of both worlds. So if you want the best ride quality, that may be the one that you want to go with. But overall, as far as ride quality goes in our non-platinum trim level that we have with us here today, the Nightshade, it's actually been perfectly fine. I don't have any issues. Just know that you're going to get a little better ride quality with the platinum, but it doesn't bother me in this particular Nightshade that we have with us here today. As far as cabin noise goes, this is the perfect test. We're going 55 miles per hour right now. I'll let you guys be the judge of it. I'm really not getting any kind of wind noise or road noise coming into the cabin. It's not that bad for me. So once again, Toyota, well done. As far as steering feel goes, it's okay. It's kind of as expected. It's not a super heavy steering feel, but it's definitely not a loose steering feel like an SUV either. So it's pretty much right in the middle of the pack, right where it should be for this thing. Touching our rear visibility, it's 100% on point. Looking at my rear view mirror here, you're definitely not going to have any issues with that, even with the Sportback-like design. And I'll show that to you guys when we get to the exterior here in a second. But I love the rear visibility. I can see perfectly fine out the back there. But also touching on forward visibility, rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard on the limited trim level and up. So all trim levels but that bottom trim level basically. But anyways, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Toyota Crown. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Toyota Crown, finished in black. Yes, that's the creative color name that they went with for this one. Interesting. But anyways, let's go ahead and start with where the Crown is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter J, indicating that the Crown is built and assembled in Japan, as it should be. But starting up front, you got that large gloss black front grille that does come standard for all trim levels across the board. Now you will get additional gloss black accents for the Nightshade that we have with us here today, so just keep that in mind as I go around this thing real quick. But bi-LED headlights coming standard on the XLE, quad LED headlights for all other trim levels essentially. So that's what you guys are looking at up front there. So either way, you got tons of illumination. You also have LED daytime running lights, get the automatic feature. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So overall, front end looks plenty good in my opinion. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, so chrome window surrounds typically do come standard. However, if you go with the Nightshade, they are going to kind of be a dark chrome, I guess you could call it, but floating roof line on the seat pillar in the back there. When it comes to the side mirrors, they are power adjustable heated side mirrors. They're also power folding for all trims. They're going to have puddle lights up underneath of them, and you're going to get LED turn signals for all trim levels across the board as well. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. They are going to differ dependent upon the trim level that you go with. 19-inch machine finished alloys for the XLE and limited trim levels, 21-inch matte black alloys for our Nightshade. That's what you guys are looking at. And then 21-inch machine finish alloys for the Platinum. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the Crown here, all the way to the top body colored shark fin antenna. You do have LED taillights, so really it's kind of like an LED light bar really, but that goes all the way across the back. And speaking of, when you get up a little bit closer, there are these kind of like, I don't know what, grooved accents, I guess you could call them, just underneath of the taillights. There's kind of grooves in the taillights too, I guess you could say, but kind of a unique design element there, so I wanted to point it out to you there. Crown lettering spelled out horizontally, that definitely looks good. You got trim level badging found on the rear trunk there as well. So if you wander onto a Toyota lot on a Sunday, that's how you're going to be able to tell what trim level you were looking at. And then just below it all, you do have dual exhaust outlets. They are tucked away. So this is a hybrid. We're going to try this though, but as always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the Crown, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there is a button on the key fob. There's also a button kind of by the driver's side left knee up here as well. But don't want to mention, it is a power trunk if you go with that Platinum trim level. Otherwise, you just manually open it like you're seeing here. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 15.2 cubic feet, which is a good bit for a sedan. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, so the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. You do have some LED cargo strobe lighting back there. I always love seeing that. And then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find a spare tire, which I always personally prefer. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, plenty impressive here, coming in at 38.9 inches. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear center armrest with cup holders and a cool little cover for the cup holders too, I guess if they're not in use. I really thought that was pretty cool. So anyways, you usually don't find that. Rear ventilation does come standard. You got dual rear USB charging ports as well. And here's the best part. Heated rear seats come standard on every single trim level across the board, so that's pretty stinking cool. But anyways, let's go ahead and make our way up to the front seats. 8-way power adjustable front seats with power lumbar. You get Softex upholstery for the XLE, leather seating for the limited trim level and up. Heated and ventilated seats though do come standard on all trim levels of the Crown, so you gotta love that. I also like the copper accents. I think they look pretty darn good. Overall, as far as seat comfort goes, Toyota and Lexus always crush it when it comes to seat comfort, and the Crown is definitely the same deal. Absolutely wonderful seat comfort when it comes to this thing. But let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel here. It is tilt and telescoping. It's going to be power adjustable for the Platinum. Leather wrapped, then that does come standard, and then a heated steering wheel also comes standard, believe it or not. But so now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got your Toyota Crown lettering on the one side. When you flip it over, lock, unlock, and that button to pop the trunk there. But it is all keyless entry with the push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that black engine start button located kind of just to the left of those center air vents there. And so once started up, you are looking at a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster, and it does give you a little bit of an animation when you change the drive mode. I thought that was pretty cool with the Crown up there, so wanted to show that to you guys. But it's got all your basics. It's got your outside temperature. There's a digital speedometer, of course, time of the day, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. And as you're driving, what was really cool is it kind of showed the power being sent back to the battery to kind of recharge it as you were driving. But the one thing I didn't like about the gauges when I was driving, I didn't mention this earlier, but it's surrounded with this gloss black, and at certain angles the sun will hit it and it'll kind of be annoying because you see that glare off the gloss black when you're driving from time to time. But did want to mention that because I didn't mention it in the driving portion, so just keep that in mind. But it wasn't too bad, but it was definitely there. But then making our way to overall interior quality, panoramic glass roof for the limited trim level and up. LED interior lighting does come standard. Wireless phone charger for all trim levels across the board. Dual zone climate control does come standard. HomeLink controls in the bottom of that rear view mirror there for up to 3 different garage doors. You gotta love that as well. Overall, I did like the interior quality in this thing, as expected in a name like the Crown. Got a couple USB charging ports up here. Everything is surrounded in kind of like this gunmetal smooth finish. Got a couple cup holders within the center armrest then. Decent amount of storage in there. You actually have a USB charging port within the center armrest and a 12-volt power outlet in there as well, so that's pretty nice. A lot of soft touch materials on the doors. I like the bronze door handles as well to match all the other bronze accents in this thing. So overall, Toyota did a pretty darn good job when it comes to the interior quality here. I really like, though, the bronze volume knob front and center. I think that looks really cool, and it's texturized as well. But anyways, let's now go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. So what you are looking at is a 12.3 inch colored touchscreen display. You get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which by the way is wireless. You can check out your climate control information up there. There's an energy flow indicator, your driving statistics, and also your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, there are 2 of them. 6 speakers is going to come with the XLE trim level, and then there's an 11 speaker JBL sound system coming with the limited trim level and up. And so of course, that is what we have with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Alright, that was insane. Like, that was a classic rock Sirius XM station, and the bass was like rumbling everything in a good way, not like a bad way, but incredible amount of bass with that JBL sound system. Clarity was plenty fine as well, but the weird thing is, I had a JBL subwoofer in my very first car back in the day. I put it in my trunk, and I thought that was so cool, and it had a ton of bass. But JBL does bass so freakishly well. Like, that's a brilliant sound system for a Crown for sure. But Big fan. Last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen though is when you do put the Crown in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. If you wanted the panoramic view monitor, that is going to be had with the Platinum trim level only, but that, as always, is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, the Crown is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which by the way is the very highest rating given by IIHS. That pretty much says it all right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You get driver and passenger knee airbags up front as well. In the back you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. That gives you all the advanced safety like pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, dynamic radar cruise control, lane trace assist, lane departure alert with steering assist, roadside assist, proactive driving assist, and a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. And then if you were to go with the limited trim level and up, you also, in addition to that, get front and rear parking sensors. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the Crown, this is brilliant MPGs for a large all-wheel drive sedan. You can get over 40 miles per gallon whether you're on the city or the highway. That's pretty darn brilliant. Also, love the very unique look, especially in black. I think this trim level in general, with it being all black and all that, I think it just looks perfect in black. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Toyota on social media somewhere there on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're new to car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.